Our first night of Wednesday flavoured action from the Capital Wrestling Centre sees a couple of welcome backs, and by the looks of it, one see you later. This is NXT Graded. Kushida and Tommaso Ciampa get us started in the ring. This is a fight that started backstage apparently, and Regal said, look, you guys are out first. Get on with it. Intense technicals to start. Ciampa taking the lead when he counters a handspring from Kushida. When we come back from the break, these two are engaging in some big old strike action, and Kushida is trying to wear down Ciampa's arm. Air raid crash avoided by Kushida, and he ends up with the armbar on Ciampa. He turns it into a powerbomb, which looked pretty cool. End of this one comes with Kushida once again taking over on Ciampa, wailing on the head of Ciampa with big stomps as he holds his arms back. That intense, ballistic Kushida striking again. Gets that hoverboard lock all the way in, and then here's Velveteen Dream with the arm cast and Cowboy Bob Orton cowboy hat. Jumps off the top, goes to hits Kushida with the cast, ends up accidentally hitting Ciampa, and then gets wiped out of the ring by Kushida. Dive out onto the Dream, and Dream scampers off. The match is awarded to Ciampa via disqualification. Both guys seething about that result. Giving this a B, these guys work really well together here. Really enjoyed the chemistry between Ciampa and Kushida. No out-and-out winner. I guess you're not going to have Ciampa pin Kushida or vice versa right now, so you don't have the proper win, but I enjoyed it as an opener. Ember Moon is back, and it's full Mad Max getup. It looks great on Ember Moon. She says she's been in isolation for 14 months. She must have seen COVID coming. And she says that she now follows Ember's law, meaning that she's not going to let anyone walk over her or tell her what to do. Now, some of the stuff she was saying here, whilst delivered well, was a bit corny. And she even said so herself in the promo. Just felt a bit over-scripted, I feel. She then says that she wants some gold in NXT. This brings out Io Shirai. Before Io can speak, Rhea Ripley comes out to join them, and she's about to have a chat with them both. And she's jumped by Raquel González and Dakota Kai. Ember Moon heads out for the save and helps clean house, and then William Regal makes the match for later on tonight. It's going to be Ripley and Ember Moon taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel González. But where did Io Shirai go? We catch up with Io just after the break, and she's asked why she didn't help out Ember Moon and Ripley, and Io says, I don't care about those two, I care about this, and points to the belt, which is fine. Seeing a little subtle turn towards the dark for Io Shirai, perhaps. Ember's segment, I'm giving a B-2. Great to see Ember back. Love the new look. Thought some of the stuff she said was a little bit naff. Not all of it, just some of it. And also, can you do something about the fake crowd noise in the CWC? It just overpowered her a bit here. And it's difficult when you're talking and there's no one in the room because your cadence is different. So, you know, if there was a live crowd there, you'd be shouting to talk over them at points. But because you're not, you're talking at the same level the whole time, but the crowd are rising and falling. It's a bit distracting for my brain. So I graded this down a little bit because of that, and because of some of the stuff that Ember said, to be fair. Feel a bit bad for that, but whatever, it's a B-. Drake Maverick is here, and he's got loads of ideas for his brand new tag team with Killian Dain. Killian Dain walks into shot at this point, and he's having none of it. He's furious with the fact that Drake even thinks they're a tag team. Drake says they've got new music tonight, and they've got a match against Everrise, and Dain looks like he's going to kill him. He doesn't, he just storms off. We hear from the Undisputed Era after this. Adam Cole hurting from this past Sunday, as is Kyle O'Reilly. Kylie's pretty bummed out that he didn't win the title, but the lads are supporting him. Adam Cole has broken ribs after the attack from Ridge Holland, and they are swearing vengeance on Ridge. More to come on that. Back to the ring, and it's Killian Dain and Drake Maverick versus Everrise. And top marks for Drake Maverick and Killian Dain's adorable new theme music. I love this. It's just this happy, bubbly sound that Drake comes out dancing to, and Killian Dain looks furious. I think the last time Killian was this angry to be around somebody smaller than him. It was Jack the Jobber at WCPW, be that as it may. We had ourselves a match where Drake was the only guy in the match for the longest of times. Killian wanted nothing to do with this and just not bothered at all. A couple of very reluctant tags, but more often than not it was Drake. Drake got a beating at one point by Ever Rise, and both members are shouting at him saying, "You're useless, he doesn't even like you, you're stupid." And Dane's on the apron going, yeah, you're right, I don't like you. At one point, we do see Killian Dain finally fire up as Chase gets in his face. He not only gets pushed, but he also gets called a fat bozo. And that does it for Killian Dain. He just clatters Ever Rise, drags Drake Maverick to the corner, tags himself into the match, runs wild on both members of the team. At one point, there's a miscommunication, and Maverick ends up crashing into Killian Dain. Dain flattens everybody and grabs Drake Maverick, annoyed that he hurt him kind of earlier on, hits a powerbomb onto Drake Maverick, onto the top of Chase for the 1, 2, 3. And Drake and Killian Dain win their match, and the music plays. Drake's up celebrating and dancing and joking, trying to get Killian Dain to do, I guess, the Drake Dain dance. He's not having it. He just punches Drake in the face and leaves. But as he's leaving, he stops, looks back in the ring, kind of has a little moment where he goes, "Oh, for God's sake." Pulls Drake from out of the ring, slings him over his shoulder and carries him up the ramp, and you see Drake on the shoulder of Killian Dain giving thumbs up. I'm giving this a B+. All right, the match quality, I can't give it an A. That would be it's not strong enough a match to be an A. But the presentation, the odd couple tag team, just everything that Drake and Dain did together, I loved it. I absolutely love it. I know the odd couple tag team is not groundbreaking stuff. I just really enjoyed what they did here, and I want to see Drake and Dain more. I want that to be a thing every week. Really sold on this. I loved it. If you didn't, I get it. Comedy is very much a personal thing. I loved it. That's why I've graded it like this. We get a Toni Storm vignette. It's Toni at the beach, and she's getting herself prepared for a return to form. She talks about being in NXT UK and how she's gone silent, and she promises that now she's back, you're going to see a Toni Storm like nothing you've ever seen before. I'm really up for seeing Toni Storm as part of NXT from off of America. I know this has been on the cards for a good long while, so let's do it. Let's get Toni. It's Toni time. Just check me watch. It's a freckle past her hair, and it's also Toni time. The Garganos are walking their dog through suburbia in matching blue and pink tracksuits. It's beautiful. They're talking about how they were robbed at TakeOver, wasn't a great night at all, and how they need to reevaluate. They get back to their front door, and Candice says, "Indy Hartwell," to which Gargano says, "Who's she? She's never beat anybody." We find out that Indy Hartwell has delivered to the Garganos a brand new flat screen TV. And Gargano just says, "Oh, Indy Hartwell, I always liked her." And they've got a TV gift up Indy Hartwell. This is a fun segment. We will return to this later. Austin Theory in action against Leon Ruff. Great showing from Leon as this match gets underway. An amazing standing, jumping Hurricane Rana onto Theory. And Ruff is like rubber, just bouncing around the ring. I think he bounces off every rope pretty much at one point. And Austin gets a bit of offense in, but as the match wears on, he struggles to get a purchase on Leon Ruff. Eventually, Ruff goes up top and slips on the second rope. Can't tell whether that was part of the match or whether that was something they just worked around. But as he slips on the top rope, Theory picks him up for the ATL and gets the 1, 2, 3. Theory then on the mic says, "Hey, this is what I can do when I'm warmed up." He mocks Adam Cole for his broken ribs and says he is the future of NXT. And he challenges anybody who disagrees with him. This brings out the return of Dexter Lumis, strolling out to the ring. Gets into the ring, and we've got ourselves a match. Theory's back in action again. Hard strikes from Lumis to get us started. Lumis is brilliant at these heavy strikes. During the break, we see that Austin Theory took control of the match, and he just started slowly wearing down Lumis. A lot of rest holds, a lot of slow stomps in this one. This really goes a distance that it probably didn't need to go, to be perfectly honest with you. After a long time getting beaten down, we see Lumis fight back with a spine buster. Theory tries to get back into this, but the moment has passed. We see the Uranagi and the silence. and we get a win for Dexter Lumis. He doesn't have much time to celebrate it though, because as soon as the bell sounds and he releases the hold, he's got 2 knees straight at his chest. It's Cameron Grimes, who is extracting a bit of revenge for an altercation they had backstage the other day, and Cameron Grimes gives him the cave in and just walks off laughing. Later on, Cameron Grimes retorts about how you don't ignore me when I ask you a question. We're going straight to the moon and all that jazz. I'm giving this whole segment a C+, right? Showcase match between Ruff and Theory was very good. Then we had Lumis and Theory, and I very much gave you the cliff notes of what felt like a really long, slow, drawn-out match. Didn't need to be as long as it was, I thought. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't brilliant. I got a bit fed up halfway through it, to be honest. Holland arrives at the CWC in a shiny new Mercedes. He gets out and he's asked why he attacked Adam Cole at TakeOver. And he responds by saying, "Last week I didn't have a Mercedes. This week I do. You can thank Adam Cole for that." Which either means that Rich Holland has been paid off like a hired hitman, or Adam Cole drove him to the dealership. I'm not sure which. I'm pretty sure we know which. After the break, we have Rich Holland in action against Danny Burch. A heavy strike fest from 2 British lads. Not much in the way of technical finesse to this, unless you're counting a German suplex thrown here and there, but this is a strongman effort that ends very suddenly with the Northern Grit from Ridge Holland for the 1, 2, 3. Just kind of came out of nowhere, that finish did, but just a short, brief, striking exchange between the north and the south of England. After the match, we see Ridge put his hat back on, and he gives Danny Burch a little comical stomp as he walks out, just a little nudge in the head. This annoys Burch, gets up, turns Holland around, slaps him in the face, and Ridge headbutts Burch, batters him in the corner until only Lorcan comes out. Then we see these 2 fighting. Ridge Holland takes his leave. Lorcan dives out of the ring onto Holland. They fight again. They get back in the ring. More fighting between Holland, Lorcan, and Burch. And then it all falls apart here. So what happens is Ridge Holland back outside the ring. Only Lorcan hits a pescado, big dive outside the ring. And Ridge Holland catches him, falls backwards, and you can see it. Oh my gosh, you can see it. He falls back, and Ridge Holland's foot is underneath him as he collapses back, holding only Lorcan. So his foot is right under his back as he falls back, and you just hear it on the show. You hear like a scream. You hear a loud scream, and you think, is that only Lorcan just going, "Rah, look what I did"? No. That's Ridge Holland screaming in pain. Like something bad has happened. Refs are throwing up X's. We then just have a shot of Lorcan checking on Burch in the ring. And we come back to this to see Ridge Holland being loaded onto a stretcher, heavily braced leg, and being taken out of the CWC. There's some applause from the people there, and Ridge gives a thumbs up as he leaves, but this is just devastating. I'm not going to grade this. I don't want to grade this. I feel weird about grading this because this really, really sucks. Like, I'm a massive fan of Ridge Holland's work. I have been for ages. You know, on a selfish point of view, I met Luke Menzies a couple of years ago. Just a guy who had been approached by the company and wanted to try out the wrestling thing. Loved it. They said go and get some training, and I was there for a couple of months as Luke was on the circuit, just getting his feet wet in it, and he was just effortlessly brilliant. And so to see him turning up on Sunday, there was like a bit of, bit of pride. Like, I know him, he's cool, he's from the north of England, it's great. So it's a personal thing, but these are personal grades, lest we forget. This isn't the be all and end all, this graded show, you know? If you disagree with the grades, that's fine. Doesn't make you right, doesn't make me wrong, doesn't make me an idiot. It's good to disagree. I don't want to grade this because somebody who I think is brilliant got injured in it, and it feels wrong to grade it. And I wish Ridge Holland a full-on speedy recovery, a healthy recovery, because this guy is going to take over the world when he's back at full strength. So nothing but the best to Ridge Holland. Be re. So the Garganos are watching their brand spanking new TV, and there's a USB that came with the TV, and they're watching it, and it's footage from the Women's Battle Royal from the other week, and it's got a spotlight on Indy Hartwell, and it shows all the times that Indy Hartwell saved Candice LeRae from getting eliminated. So obviously Indy is trying to get into the good books of the Garganos, and this is a very clever way of doing it. And how's that for storytelling for a company that seems to rewrite shows like on the fly the hour before? This is something they're a little seed they planted that none of us noticed weeks ago. It's great, that. We then go to Thatcher's Thatch Can Wrestling Academy. Timothy Thatcher teaching the Fujiwara armbar and the crossface, and he's especially angry this week. Like, there's an edge to Timothy Thatcher as he's pulling back on these moves, saying that it's not about the losses. Life isn't defined by losses, but by the everlasting pain that you conflict. He then goes on to say that life will grind you down until you quit, which is what I'm gonna do. He's basically gonna grind life down. It's just like a really intense Timothy Thatcher here, which is very interesting. Shotzi Blackheart takes on Xia Li here. Short match with these two. Shotzi takes an advantage early on. Xia wears her down. They end up fighting on the top rope. Xia gets pushed off the top. Shotzi lands a cannonball. 1, 2, 3. This is a couple of minutes at best, this one is. After the match, as Shotzi is celebrating, in the corner we see, who's this in a lovely suit? Is that Boa? Oh my days, it's Boa! Comeback of the century. Boa approaches Xia Li, hands her a letter, and they leave together. A new unholy alliance within NXT. Boa and Xia Li. It's a C+ for this one. It wasn't a bad match. It was a short little showcase thing with some storyline elements to it. Top marks for Xia Li, aligning herself with a legend like Boa. Top marks to Shotzi for the Halloween-themed tank and the Halloween Havoc t-shirt. She is 100% owning this host of Halloween Havoc thing, and I love it. So we come to our main event of the evening. It's Ember Moon and Rhea Ripley taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel González. New theme music for Ember Moon, new ring gear for Ember Moon, new attitude for Ember Moon, new moveset for Ember Moon. Chef's kisses all round. She looked great here. Like, anytime Ember was in the ring, I thought she looked fresh and invigorated. This was really cool to see. And she starts off really strong as well until Dakota Kai pulls on the hair to get an advantage onto Ember. We see Rhea get the tag, and this ends up with dives outside the ring onto everybody before we go to break. Ripley is beaten down by Dakota and Raquel for quite a while in this one before she manages to break away and make that hot tag to Ember Moon. She just unleashes big moves. She's got like a new low flatliner that she hits. She lands a code breaker in there as well. Kai and González very much on the back foot here. They try and knock back using some double team maneuvers, but Moon and Ripley are just on too much of a roll here. There's a malfunction at the junction to end this one, so we've got Ripley and Raquel fighting outside the ring. And we've got Moon and Dakota inside the ring. At one point, Dakota knocks Ember Moon down, but she sees out the corner of her eye Rhea Ripley carrying Raquel González in like the fireman's carry position. So Dakota puts a big boot through the ropes into Rhea Ripley's face. She falls backwards and sends Raquel González across the announce table in what can only be called a serendipitous Samoan drop. Like, falls back and there she goes all the way back through. As Dakota realizes what's gone wrong, here's Ember Moon striking back into this match, and then off the top rope, she's got a load of new moves, but the main one is still there, the Eclipse. Bang, lands it perfectly. 1, 2, 3. Ember Moon picks up the win for her team in the main event. The last shot we see is Ripley holding up Ember Moon's arm. Well and truly back in NXT. B+ for the main event. Solid work from everyone involved. A solid TV style main event from people here. And I really just enjoyed seeing Ember Moon looking so reinvigorated. Like, this is a great night for a return for Ember Moon. She just looks solid here and immediately repositions herself front and center for me for the NXT women's division. This week for me, NXT is a B- overall. I thought there was some really good stuff in this show. The return of Ember Moon was out and out the highlight. The low light being the stuff with Austin Theory and Dexter that sort of dragged a little bit. Some of the Thunderdome-esque noise in the CWC was a little bit too much and took away from things at points. And obviously that injury to Ridge Holland takes a lot away from this show as well. We said nothing but out. The big thing for me is welcome back Ember Moon, and get well very soon, Ridge Holland. Get well very soon. See you in a bit. Yorkshire, Yorkshire, Yorkshire. Love you, bye.